Good morning, students. Today we are going to start chapter from grammar. The first chapter, uh, and the name of the chapter is phrase and clause. I hope you have got some idea in your previous class what is phrase and what is clause. Now we will start with the phrase. As we know, phrase is a group of words that make sense but not complete sense. Okay, so when a group of words make sense but not complete sense is called a phrase. Example as at night, on the shelf, with her father, after 2 days, some boys in the class. These are some examples where you have found group of words which is making sense but it is not making these phrases are not making complete sense, so this is called phrase. Okay, and to make it complete sense, to make or to give a complete sense, we need some more words. Okay, suppose you can see in the examples, the moon shines at night. The first, when I have given the example as phrase, it was at night, but if we add some more words with it, subject we have added, the moon shines at night. Shines, verb, at night, we had already at night with us, so we have added the moon shines. So now it has become a sentence or a clause. Complete sense we are getting from here. On the shelf. On the shelf. The next example of phrase is on the shelf. If with this phrase, uh, if we add some more words, what happens? See, keep these utensils on the shelf. Keep these utensils on the shelf. So keep these utensils, these three more words we have added with the phrase on the shelf, and it has become a sentence or a clause, right? Then, with her father. She is living with her father. With her father we had already got in the example of phrase. Now we are adding she is living. So altogether it is giving a complete sense. So this way we can make sentences or clauses by adding more words to make it a complete sense. So in order to express a complete sense, we need to add more words with phrase. Okay, and phrase can be of three kinds. One is noun phrase, the other is adjective phrase, and the third one is adverb phrase. What is noun phrase? Which talks about noun. Adjective phrase, which works as adjective, and adverb phrase, which works as adverb. This is all about phrase, and now we will go to clause. What is clause? A group of words which forms part of a sentence. Part of a sentence. Remember, sentence is the entire thing and clause is parts of it, though it is having or containing subject and predicate of its own. Still, it cannot be called sentence, because to make sentence, sometimes or most of the times, sometimes in simple sentence we are having only single clause, but in other sentences like complex and compound sentence we have more than one clause. So in that case we can say that clause or a group of words which form part of a sentence containing a subject and a predicate of its own is called a clause. Have you understood? A group of words which forms a part of a sentence and which contains subject and predicate of its own. That is called a clause. All right. And example of it is he has a chain which is made of gold. He has a chain. He has a chain. this is a clause which is made of gold. Here, from which is made of gold, this is another clause, and this is adjective clause. Okay, clause is also divided into types: noun clause, adjective clause, and adverbial clause, right? Okay, so what have we got? A group of words which forms a part of a sentence containing a subject and a predicate of its own is called a clause. Please note this down in your copy, the definition of phrase and clause, and its example as well, and its types as well. Okay, now clauses are divided into two parts. One is uh, main clause, and the other is subordinate clause. Okay, and these subordinate clauses, as I told, these are divided into parts: noun clause, adverb clause, and adjective clause. Adjective clause is also called relative clause, remember it. So clause is divided into two: one is main clause, the other is subordinate clause. Main clause is also called principal clause, and remember always, without means main clause can stand alone, and subordinate clause, without main clause, it cannot stand alone. Subordinate clause always need a main clause to stand, or to give the proper uh, sense, the complete sense. And once again I'm telling, subordinate clause is divided into three kinds: noun clause, adjective clause, and adverbial clause. And adjective clause is also known as relative clause. So this is some basic information about phrase and clause. I hope you have understood. Please learn it properly and try to find out. I'll give you some exercise on the basis of this chapter, from where you will find out phrase and clause, which is phrase and which is clause. You have to underline and circle it, and on the basis of the exercise you will be directed how to do the task. Till then, just go on, read it, go through it properly, and practice more and more to get a perfection of your learning. Thank you. Have a very good day.